I bet Deion Sanders is probably ashamed that this is coming out of Colorado. We're going to talk about this story. Now, I've seen this baby's face before, but we're going to tell you this story for those who might not have caught this. But out of Colorado, and I'm getting this story from longcrime.com, so thank you for the article. But let me give you a disclaimer before we get into the details. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I think I need to give you guys another disclaimer because I don't think that was enough. So YouTube, content warning, the following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised for listening to the details. I'm not going to actually show a video showing anything, but the details might be disturbing. So a 28-year-old woman in Colorado will likely spend the rest of her life behind bars after admitting to killing her 5-year-old daughter, the angel that you guys see on the left-hand side right there, whose charred remains were found stuffed inside a shopping bag in a closet in their family home last year. So I talked about this story before, this missing baby. This is the conclusion. This mother is guilty. She is absolute garbage. The way that she treated her daughter, like, man, ridiculous. So here are the details. Arapahoe County District Court Judge Joseph Whitfield on Wednesday ordered Alexis Nelson to serve 84 years in a state correctional facility for the horrific slaying of young Mahali Hobbs. Sorry, I mispronounced that baby's name. Mahali. Authorities confirmed the alarm crime. Nelson's attorneys reached a deal with prosecutors and she pled guilty to 1 count each of second-degree murder, tampering with the deceased's body, and attempting to influence a public servant. So with her agreeing to these charges, she probably got lesser charges than what they were actually going to throw at her. Specifically, Whitfield sentenced Nelson to 48 years on the murder charge and 24 years on the tampering charge and 12 years on the attempt to influence charge, with all of the sentences to be served consecutively, meaning one after another. So concurrent is at the same time, consecutive, one right after another, which is great. I'm glad they put it that way. It's both heartbreaking and appalling that a mother would kill her own child and then make up a bogus adoption story so that the family would believe the child is alive and well. So if you've never heard this story before, you can watch my original video, but that tells you everything that you need to know. Like, why would you do this? So again, I use the terminology that I made up. It's a hashtag, AFC hashtag called Babies for Benefits. This woman, this fool, this horse-faced looking fool, never loved this child, not a day in her life. She only had this child to either control a man or to gain benefits off of this baby's back, whether it be Section 8 food stamps, child support, car vouchers, whatever it is, even for attention. But she didn't have this child because she wanted to see this child grow up and become something great, love her, want to cherish her, protect her. No, because you can't feel that way if you behave like this. The investigation into Nelson began on May the 30th of 2023 last year when the mother, Mahali's grandmother, called Aurora Police Department to request a welfare check. So that was great that she did that. To check on Mahali after Nelson told the grandmother that she had given Mahali up for adoption. Wait right there. And that was a huge red flag. Know why? Right here. Because this child had her father. You know what's funny? And I've said this many times, and people want to debate, but they really can't debate what I say. When it's funny how these type of women, not all, their mentality, a boyfriend that they're dating, a boyfriend that they're having sex with, a boyfriend that they're happy with in that moment of time can have all the access to these children that they want to, right? A boyfriend can. But the biological father, oh no, he has to prove himself. He has to jump through hoops. He has to pay his monthly child support bill on time in order to even get a few hours with his kid. You'll make this man go through hell and high water. You'll even go through as much to create a lie. And let's just say if you did do this, just the idea of you allowing some random family to adopt a child when the biological father is right there. They didn't have to jump through no hoops, but the father does? How the fuck does that work? How does that make any sense? And how is it that we have so many people in our society that think that that's okay, they even have that mentality, let alone this ain't even what she did. She murdered this baby and burned her body to try to hide the evidence. But the father couldn't just give up custody. That wasn't simple enough. You wanted to do life in prison and end this baby's future. That's selfish. So they called and had a welfare check on her, and the grandmother, and after Nelson told the grandmother she'd given this little girl up for adoption, the grandmother told police that she had not seen or heard Mahaly in approximately 3 weeks. Let's keep going. Investigators contacted Nelson, who claims that she had indeed given Mahaly up for adoption through an adoption agency. However, when officers contacted the agency, they explained that they had no case file on either Nelson or her daughter. Police on May 31st, 2023, obtained and executed a search warrant for Nelson's home at an apartment complex in the 1000 block of South Elkhart Street. Can't pronounce that properly. Upon arriving at the residence, a detective said he immediately knew there was a dead body in the area, probably because of the smell, right? When officers opened the utility closet door on the patio of the apartment, they found the charred human remains of Nelson's daughter. I couldn't imagine the type of nightmares that these people must go through to do a job like this because of goddamn idiots like this. That ain't normal. That ain't right. Somebody has to do this job, and it's just so unfortunate that they see just the most horrific things, and my heart goes out to them, and I just feel so sorry for the job that they have to do. Upon opening the closet door, a detective immediately noticed what he recognized to be a distinct odor of decomposing flesh. The closet was filled with various children's items that appeared to belong to Mahaly. The affidavit said, after removing the boxes from the closet, he found a large shopping bag that contained a plastic bag inside. It was at this point that the detective came outside, and he also noticed the strong odor of decomposition. As the detective opened the bag, the odor became overpowering. Inside the bag, the detective observed what appeared to be charred human remains. And what did this baby do to deserve that? When authorities searched the bag, they said they found what looked to be a rib cage that was consistent with a 5-year-old child. Lord have mercy. This mother knew about available adoption programs that could have cared for this child, but instead, or even the father. Like, why is on Father's Day? Like, why is that not coming up? Hashtag babies for benefits. Thank you. She knew about the adoption process, but she chose to murder this baby. District Attorney John Kellner said, while there is no way to fully comprehend what turned this mother into a monster, she deserves to spend several decades behind bars for the unspeakable crime she committed. I say life in prison, but nonetheless, Let me give you guys the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And knowing that there were pictures of the biological father out there, like, why didn't that even come up? It just... To me, there are just so many times when fathers are just not recognized at all. Y'all, please do me a favor. This is Father's Day officially. So y'all do me a favor and share this story. Hit that thumbs up. Share this in your favorite crime groups. Get this story out there. Let's make this go viral, like Miss V says.
We now know the fate of an Aurora mother accused of murdering her 5-year-old daughter. 28-year-old Alexis Nelson pleaded guilty yesterday and will spend 84 years behind bars. Mahalie Hobbs' charred remains were found in Nelson's apartment after she was reported missing. Nelson also pleaded guilty to tampering with a body and attempting to influence a public servant.
Well, we're learning new details in the case of an Aurora mother accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter.
Alexis Nelson is charged with child abuse, tampering with a deceased human body, and more. Fox 31 problem solver Alex Rose joining us in studio with what we're learning this afternoon. Alex.
Yeah, Erica, last night we reported how Nelson allegedly tried to mislead investigators by saying she connected her 5-year-old daughter, Mahalie, with an adoption agency. Police investigated and found out that wasn't true. The problem solvers now have new police records shedding more light on this case. A warning for you folks at home, some of these details are disturbing. So according to these police records, police got a search warrant for Nelson's phone, finding in early May she Googled things like, can you overdose on melatonin and can you overdose on Xanax? She also recorded several videos of her 5-year-old appearing to say goodbye to family members. Police got a search warrant for her apartment and found the 5-year-old's.
Y'all hear that? How does she not get an automatic life sentence? Listen at this. She recorded video of her daughter saying goodbye to her loved ones. What? That's premeditated. That's murder.
Appearing to say goodbye to family. Search Wilson. She Googled things like, can you overdose on melatonin and can you overdose on Xanax? She also recorded several videos of her 5-year-old appearing to say goodbye.
Several videos.
Warrant for her apartment and found the 5-year-old's room was completely empty with various. Police got a search warrant for her apartment. Videos of her 5-year-old appearing to say goodbye to family members. Police got a search warrant for her apartment and found the 5-year-old's room was completely empty with various stains. They also searched a utility closet connected to an exterior patio and found various children's items inside and a plastic bag. They found charred remains and bones inside of that bag. Investigators also searched the fireplace, finding even more remains. The coroner confirmed the remains are human, but they are going to do more DNA tests.
How is that not an automatic first-degree murder charge? Super aggravated child abuse, something. Should have got her fucking at least a couple of life sentences.
A child's remains were found in an apartment in Aurora today, and the woman that lives there was arrested. Police Chief Art Acevedo says they believe the remains belong to a 5-year-old girl who was reported missing earlier this week. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow is joining us right now. And Matt, this is so upsetting and disturbing.
Kim, it doesn't get much more disturbing than this one. Chief Acevedo says late last night, his officers found the decomposed remains of a young child, an angel, as he described her, inside a closet of an apartment in Aurora. The story began a few days ago when a woman called 911 and said her daughter, Alexis Nelson, had sent her concerning text messages. The caller also said she feared for the safety of her granddaughter, 5-year-old Mahalie Hobbs. CBI then issued an endangered missing alert for Mahalie. When officers first went to Nelson's apartment on South Elkhart Way, she told them that she'd given Mahalie up for adoption, though she could not provide any records to prove it. When investigators failed to find any public records of the adoption, they arrested Nelson for attempting to influence a public servant. Police then obtained a search warrant for Nelson's apartment, where late last night they found the human remains in the closet.
It was tough to see our cops that had to find that little angel in the condition they found her in. And we're highly confident that this is going to end up being our missing child.
Acevedo said the positive identification of the remains will be made by the Arapahoe County Coroner's Office. Alexis Nelson is now facing numerous charges, including child abuse resulting in death. She's being held on $100,000 bond at the Arapahoe County Detention Center. Kim?
The chief touched on this. I mean, they see a lot of terrible things, but nothing can prepare you for something like this.
This one really seemed to move the chief, and I'm told the cops who found her.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Well, a mother has been convicted in the death of her 5-year-old daughter and will spend decades behind bars. Today, a judge sentencing 28-year-old Alexis Nelson to 84 years in prison. So we know last year Nelson was arrested for giving false information regarding the child's whereabouts. So according to the arrest affidavit, Nelson told officers she put the child up for adoption, but investigators found that to be false and later found the remains of the child in a closet in her apartment. Earlier this year, Nelson was convicted on charges of second-degree murder, tampering with a deceased body, and attempting to influence a public servant.
I think I would just feel better. Do I think she's going to outserve 85 years? I don't, and I'm glad it's consecutive, and she needs to do every bit of that time, every year that they have. She should not be able to outlive those years. But I would just feel better if they would have got a premeditated charge, because that's clearly what this was. And to know that there was an active biological father there and you still did this, no excuse for it, and there should never, ever be any sympathy for her. Mahalia, Princess, R.I.P. We're just sorry that this world sucks and you just had just one of the worst mothers possible. I could only imagine what the biological father feels, and why did the mother feel like she didn't want to give him an opportunity to raise this baby so that she could grow up and become something great. Just robbing our society. There was no reason to have this baby at all. It just needs to be punished at this point, okay? Let me know what you guys think about this story, all right? Thank you.